Well, hello and welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and today we have the news that Meghan has finally launched her American Riviera Orchard's first product, and it's as bland as you can imagine. Bland and boring. I don't know where to start. And so many of you are saying, oh my God, this is so awful. And we thought that at least she could have released something like a nutmeg jam. That would have been on brand. I would have wanted to buy that. You remember that she herself said many times how her friends called her nutmeg. So I would have made sense that her first product would have been nutmeg jam or even nutmeg spread. Well, I think we got lucky not having that one yet. But no, she decided to go for strawberry jam, all plain strawberry, and it was not only predictable, but yeah, kind of a bit boring in many ways. The influencers or the friends that she asked for this, all of them got one of these jars and they are numbered. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but first I want to mention a really nice tweet from Holly. A single fruit flavor is quite boring. Had she thought it through, she would have done a multi-fruit and a sweet spicy variety, including recipes for her products, like a jam cookie with California almonds or a pepper jelly salad dressing. Recipes she could demo in her cooking show. But you know that Meghan is doing this at her own pace, which means that she's only making things up as she goes along. And thus we realize that only the label, I'm going to talk about the design, but just the label, the glue that keeps the label stuck to the jar, well, it's not that good, or it's not good at all, because even in the images shared by her friends or the influencers, I don't know how to call them, you can see that the label was peeling off. And these pictures are courtesy of Tracy Robbins. You know that lady that in that Jamaica premiere of the Bob Marley movie, she was not that excited of being right next to the Sausage Duchess. But anyway, at least she got a jar of strawberry jam to taste, which, again, with just a bit of imagination, I think that Meghan and Harry could have gone for something even more interesting, like this meme I came up with, like while doing research for today's show. Orange and ginger fruit spread from Saint Dalfour. Some of you have already tried this jelly or jam. I don't know, marmalade. I need to define much better what is the product in here. And regarding the fact that the label was about to peel off, at least Delfina Blanquier, which is Nacho's wife, she received the jar 10 of 50. She made sure to hold the label in place so it didn't come off when taking the shot. That is great. That's what friends do. Thank you, Delfina, for your service. But enough with the jar measuring contest. Time for the taste test. And you might be wondering, what is the meaning behind those numbers? Sometimes you have jams or products like this that have like small batches, like this one. You see batch number 080221. But at least it's a 6-digit number. This could be a small batch, but they have released 80,000 of those batches. So, it's a lot. And so why does Meghan release a limited edition of 50 jars? What does that mean? Well, in principle, it's because she wants to make it seem like this brand is all exclusive. It's a very limited edition and all that. I can understand her intention behind that, but it's too odd because then she must have created labels exclusively for this kind of batches. I mean, this is not for mass production, and that's for sure, because nothing can be profitable with just 50 at a time. And maybe she did this only to send it to the 50 friendfluencers, we could say. But I think the reason behind the numbering is a bit more practical, if not sinister. You know that these friends had to take pictures of the jar and feature them prominently on their Instagram accounts, right? So by doing so, they were going to show the number and, of course, The number was very useful to track down which one of them became viral besides the original account. For example, if Delfina shares this on her Instagram and someone crops the image and shares it anywhere else without mentioning Delfina, or even cropping out her name, at least Meghan will be able to track down which jars are becoming more viral and say, hey, this friendfluencer of mine has more outreach than the others. That's a form of control. And another form of control is something that I'm interested in testing, and I'm still moving my influences and contacts to see if I can get hold of one of these jars. I absolutely want to get hold of this jar to do an honest review, and of course, if by any chance one of these jars falls into my hands and I get to show the number on a screen, then Meghan would know who was the mole. Pun intended. Who was the one who leaked the jar to the Royal Rogue or to anybody who was not on the list. And you can bet that once she knows whoever leaked or shared without permission her awesome, very exclusive jelly, well, that person is going to be blacklisted. Oh, you're not going to receive the upcoming flavors. And thanks to Murky Meg, we see this comment in the middle of the cornfield. This is driving me crazy. There is literally a citrus orchard on the grounds and she sends out strawberry jam. She could have done lemon curd with lemons on side and egg yolks from their chickens, along with candied peel and limoncello, all from the same lemons. I've done those for decades as homemade Christmas gifts, and they all are so simple to make it isn't funny. She could have done orange marmalade or Asian pear jam, queen's jam. Jesus Christ, how about fig preserves in a charcuterie basket? The company brand freaking name included Hortard, and she introduces it with strawberry effing jam. She can't even do a product rollout correctly. Oh my God, this is so bad, but let's talk about the design. You know that I also have a background in graphic design, so I have the chops, I have the certification, I have everything it takes to talk about the design, and the design is bland. Not gonna lie, the texture paper of the label, that looks nice. The gold ink with that kind of calligraphy, that is so thin, could get a bit lost in the design because you don't really get the shine of the gold ink because you have very thin lines and there's no way, at least from this angle, to know what flavor is. So that could be like a problem, right? If you sitting on a shelf, if you're sitting on a shelf and you want to know what is the flavor, it should be on the front of the jar, right? As I mentioned a couple minutes ago. With also the label of the nutritional facts and all that stuff. Are these real strawberries? Are these organic strawberries? Are these non-GMO, GMO strawberries? All that is needed right there on the bag, and we got none of that. None of those. At the same time, the Sausage Squad members, you know that they are not the brightest of the bunch. Sadly, they still vote. But they are asking questions like this. Anyone want to guess what the numbers mean? Numbers of products in the line? 50 products in total? This is just embarrassing. But in design, the idea of a jam is to feel homely, feel made at home. And sometimes you have designs that nail it, and sometimes you have designs that are completely off the mark. Off the mark, in this case, the Stonewall Kitchen, they didn't try very hard. They just included a loose handwriting name for their flavor itself, hot pepper peach jam, and call it a day. Looks quite industrial. Looks not as homely. I prefer this kind of design that is like that typewriter effect. Not an effect, but it's a font. But the fact that the label has this typewriter font, it's like it brings you back to that era. We didn't have computers. We didn't have mobile phones. Everything was made by hand. It looks like they actually typed in with a typewriter, but it's just perfect. At the same time, you see that it's a triple berry jam. It's not a single berry. It's a mix of berries, which makes it even more interesting. And thanks to Resting Dollface, we found out that the whole Montecito influencer Hortod was foreshadowed by HBO's The Prince years ago, where the sausage duchess explains to William and Catherine that to promote a ketchup sauce, all you need to do is to take your pictures and upload them to Instagram. How fitting. But Rogues, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And remember, much love and bliss.